launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Now that we are a few days removed from the Olympia weekend, we're starting to see some more of the ancillary stories that we weren't quite able to cover come into focus, including this one from the Classic Physique division regarding the status of Logan Franklin. For those of you who don't know, shortly before the start of prejudging, Logan's team announced that they were having to withdraw, and that at the time didn't give any specific reason for the decision. But shortly thereafter the announcement was made, Logan did take to social media, where he released 2 lengthy videos and essentially said that he was pulling out due to health reasons. Aside from the fact that a lot of people had Logan Franklin penciled into the top 10 spot this year, the other thing that really jumps out about this story is how closely it parallels what we saw from Hassan Mustafa about a week ago when he announced that he was pulling out of the Men's Open due to health concerns at the last minute. Anyone who knows Logan or who knows his story understands that this guy is as tough as they come, which lets you know that whatever issues he's been dealing with must have been pretty serious. But as we've seen from time and time again, he always finds a way to get back up after he falls down. And I'm sure this time won't be any different. So whatever he does decide that it's time for him to step back into action next season, you can all but guarantee we're going to get the best version of Logan Franklin we've ever seen. I think it was Winston Churchill who said, "Believe half of what you read and none of what you hear," which I guess apparently includes information that comes directly from the source sometimes. Shortly after his 5th place performance during Olympia weekend, Ramy took to social media and said that he planned on being back better than ever next year, which is something that we all probably could have anticipated given the circumstances surrounding this Olympia weekend. However, the other thing he didn't say directly in that statement was that he is planning to come back, which is something he hinted on not doing earlier in the season when he said he was planning on retiring after age 38, which would have been at the close of this season. Now, whether or not making another serious run as a title contender is something that's in the cards moving forward is another story altogether, and it's not something we necessarily need to dive into today. But at least for now, it looks like we are going to see Big Ramy on a bodybuilding stage at some point during the 2023 season. And for those of you who really like to plan ahead, now might be a good time for you to look into your hotel and airfare rates for somewhere in Orlando next December, because it looks like the Olympia is heading back to Florida next year. Despite the fact that the Super Bowl of bodybuilding returned to its old stomping grounds of Las Vegas, Nevada this year, shortly after the conclusion of this year's festivities, Olympia officials announced that next year's contest would in fact be held in Orlando, Florida, which shouldn't feel too unfamiliar given that everything relocated to Florida for a few years while the Pro League was trying to navigate the whole COVID mess. Now, whether or not that has any impact on the way next year's contest is run, like maybe moving up the time for the prejudging on Friday, remains to be seen. But if you are from the US and you live anywhere along the I-95 corridor, this is probably music to your ears, because it means you can pack up the whole family for a holiday road trip next year without having to break the bank or worry about a ton of logistics. Listen, I'm fully aware that it's way too early or too late, depending on how you want to think about it, to even begin thinking about what might happen at the Arnold Classic come next March. But we're going to roll with this one anyway, because these are the dog days of the season when there isn't a whole lot of news to report at this time. So with that in mind, doesn't it make the rumors about Rafa Brandao heading into the Arnold Classic in March seem a lot more, well, tasty. Even though he's fresh off the heels of his first Olympia appearance, at the moment, it looks like there aren't any plans to take his foot off the gas anytime soon, given that we're actually only 10 weeks away from the Arnold Classic. The last time Rafa competed in Columbus, he was at his all-time best. And considering the fact that the version of him we just saw at the Olympia would completely blow that guy away, at the very least, it means he has to be in the conversation as one of the early favorites there. Rafa's done an amazing job of putting on size in the right areas to really highlight what makes his physique special. So if he can do a little bit of fine-tuning over the next 2.5 months, he's going to be in the mix for a top 3 finish at the Arnold. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.